Yeah, this is a video of a clock I bought from a friend of mine. In fact, I swapped it for another clock. It's a Gustav Becker. I think it might have been made in the 1920s, might be a bit before that. When I got it, the cord was broken. The movement was black. I took it all apart, cleaned it, put new catgut. It's in beat, it's running. I haven't got the pin on the hands. But one thing I wanted to do is that I want to explain it's a very eccentric clock. The second hand should go round once a minute. It goes 1 1/4 times a minute. So whoever put this clock together fitted a second hand arbor to the escape wheel. But the pendulum beat is too fast on that escape wheel to do 60 seconds. Therefore it should be 2 ticks a second. It's doing 3 ticks a second. Therefore you're getting a minute equals 1 minute 15 seconds, and the hour hand's perfectly fine. I've had a look at the movement on the clock. It was actually made like that. Now, what I heard is that Gustav Becker went bust in the 30s, and there was a lot of their spares sold to other clockmakers and jewelers and people who just bought them. And I believe this clock was made with bits that were left over from the 30s, even though it looks like a 20s style. And it's really quite weird. And because the clock keeps time between a minute a day, I have not adjusted it yet, but the second hand is gaining 15 seconds a minute. It would be interesting to find out if anyone else has a clock that does that, because I've not seen one before. The movement, I think it's stamp A and M and company. I can't remember what it's stamped on the back, and it's got the factory where Gustav Becker made their clocks. So I don't know whether the movement and plate was made as a kit. It wasn't supposed to have a second hand fitted, and the company that got the spares decided to do that. They probably called them all back for being faulty, but for somehow this one seems to have not gone back. And I checked the movement when I took it apart, and yes, it was originally fitted with that wheel and all the parts, but it's wrong. So it's very, very odd that that has happened. It's come complete with the winding key when I got it. The case was a bit grubby and a bit suspect. I cleaned that. It had a bracket on the back to fit on what they call the picture rail. That was no good. So I put a big hook eye in the back, and I've got it hanging from the wall so it doesn't rip the wood apart. It's extremely heavy, and despite putting a 3-inch screw on the wall, that's still bending down slightly. I hope it doesn't go down too far, as the clock will slip over the end of the screw and hit the ground. I think what I'm going to have to do is actually take the movement out and actually drill the case, and actually screw the case to the wall using very long wall plugs, then put the movement back in and have it actually physically permanently fixed to the wall. What I would do is put some wooden blocks on the back and buy some very long screws and screw the damn thing with 3 screws, 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top. Somebody's already drilled 2 holes in the bottom corners, so I mean there's no reason I couldn't reutilise those. And I may be able to leave the top one I've got and just put a couple of screws in the bottom. So there you are, and in a minute I'll just do a little more video on the actual movement and the inside of the clock. So part 2 coming up.